Welcome to BSN for Pros live webcast, livecast, streamcast, whatever you guys want to call it. I'm here with Analyn Braza. Just wanted to talk to you guys, share with you just a little bit of information that we are learning as we grow, right? And my goal and purpose for these live streams is really to network, connect, and to really just build relationships. I believe when I first started, my Facebook group's called BSN for Pros Live. If you're not a member of that group, please join it. It is on my Facebook profile. Or if you're not, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to my YouTube channel, to BSN for Pros. When I first started, one of the things my concept was the ability to engage, meaning you have to go out there and talk to people, say hello, introduce yourself, right? Give value, create value, means that's information that's going to help someone, with yourself, with anyone else out there, and then make connections, find how that works, right? So this is just that simple formula that I have used in my sales game for the past 20 years in building relationships and talking to people. And I know a lot of us, right, that we are, you're out there entrepreneurs, you're salespeople, you're out there trying to build, you're like introverts. I'm an introvert too myself. I think I'm a very shy person, but when I come on, that's when it starts. And this is where we are pushing ourselves to fight that. I think that's something that, so let me know if you have struggles. I understand, Ben, but you're doing what you need to do to perform, to do your best. So let me introduce my friend, Analyn Braza. She is awesome. We have great conversations. Analyn, how are you doing this morning?
I'm awesome, amazing. This is an interesting Sunday because usually I'm not anywhere, I'm not doing anything on Sundays, but today seems to be a very productive energy for me. So I have to be doing something today. So one of my favorite things is basically to, I guess, educate people.
Sure. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Let's talk about who you are, what you're doing. I should have given you. I wanted to say more about you, but I think something that we all need to work on, and I'm always shy of myself, is the introduction. Right? Introduce yourself.
Right.
So introduce. And one of the things, I was reading this sales book many years ago. Imagine, I always say, imagine if you were you had someone gave you 60 seconds to perform, not to perform, but maybe you had a bazillion viewers, right? You were on the Jimmy Kimmel show, whatever, and you had 60 seconds to come out and say hello to the world. So show us. Let's do it. Ready? Are you ready?
Okay, let's do it.
Let's go. 1, 2, 3, go.
Hello, everyone. I'm Analyn Braza, and I am the founder of Web Beauty Creative Services. I am a web designer, and I've been part of this business journey, let's say, for maybe about almost 10 plus years. Well, I would say 10 plus years. And today I just want to share, basically how I continue to learn. I'm a lifelong learner, and to educate myself, especially in the networking space. So that's kind of the things that we're talking about today. I am a U.S. veteran. I'm also part of the networking group called BNI West. So I've actually just became vice president. I was promoted to vice president recently. So it was almost like a sign, hey, you need to step up. Time to step up.
Awesome. So tell me, so now you're part of this group called BNI, which it's a networking community,
networking
organization. Tell us a little bit about that organization.
So Business Networking International has been around for, I think, more than 30 years now. And the founder, Ivan Meisner, he's called the father of modern networking. So the core of this is that they started out with the core value of giver's gain. So what you give, you get back. So that makes a lot of sense, because in our lives today, it's we make the effort to build these relationships. We make the effort to reach out. We make the effort to, call family, friends, members. And what do? They respond, right? So they respond back. You create these relationships. You meet these people that you never knew you could ever meet, and even though it is a business networking, that doesn't mean these business people can be your friends. Because over time, once you start to connect, once you start to meet each other, you do these one-to-ones. I mean, we do this one-to-ones with everyone every day. You call up your friend, hey, let's go to lunch. My treat. I want to know how you're doing. I want to catch up with you. Those
Sure.
are the conversations we want to have,
Sure. Sure.
you know. So one of the myths, well, I wouldn't say myths, but a lot of people jump into networking thinking, oh, it's a networking event. We go there, we pass business cards, and we do business. That's not what it's all just about. There's more to that. And I think I wanna kind of break that wall to let them know that, it's really about building relationships. It's really about meeting people you'd never meet, along your journey, unless you actually make the effort to do so.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've been involved in networking for many years. I've done, we go to these events and it just feels like everyone's just there passing business cards. Here's my card. Here's my card. I'm like, oh, and you're never really gonna meet these people. You're never really gonna call these people. It seems like there's a thing called one of the things I understood, and I learned this late. I learned this was called a hidden agenda.
Mhm.
There's a hidden agenda. Everyone has a hidden agenda behind them. It doesn't matter what it is. There's something. There's an end goal. But what is the agenda, right? If this person's agenda is to use me or to get something from me and move on, or is it to build the relationship? Is it to build a friendship or to give? What is that agenda? With those people, and I think this is why you
Mhm.
and I we've talked to each other, and we're like, our agenda is just to like make a relationship, grow it, and go from there. We haven't said, hey, do you want to, by the way, here's my link to sign up for my or can you, it doesn't happen that way. And I
Mhm.
believe these relationships, these conversations, and I hope people, if you're watching these conversations that we're having in the groups in our lives, it's just a friendly talk. That's all we're doing, and you're doing the same thing out there with people. um, let's talk about referrals. I know that that's something that people like. I think that's I don't know the word to, I don't want to say that word, but some people look at it as a way of when they say, oh, I'm going to get referral, as like it's not a naughty word, not that word, but it's like referrals. Can I get some referrals from you? Like, it's kind of like you're hungry for business, but it's not. I don't think it is. What's your concept or your idea behind referrals?
Well, if you think about it, if you meet somebody, no one's gonna trust you right away. So building the relationship is important because you wanna learn more about the person, and it doesn't even have to be about business. It's like you're making new friends at school when you go to a new school, for example, and you're sitting there in class and someone comes up to you, "Hey, I've never seen you here before. How's it going?" Conversation starters, right? So what are you gonna do? You're gonna respond. So it's the same thing with networking is when you go up to people, you can kind of tell by body language, like who's a little bit closed off, who's actually like out there engaging. I always challenge myself. The people that are closed off, I go say hi. I'd be kind of like, I don't want to be in their space per se,
Sure.
all in their face, but I want to say hi, have a conversation, maybe talk about the weather, bring up something that, oh, you look like you don't know anyone here. If you're
Sure.
closed off and you don't have friends, you don't have
Yeah.
people in the room,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But challenge yourself sometimes. Go up to those introverts, I guess you call them,
Sure. No. Oh,
and say hi, have a
I'm
conversation,
telling you right now.
open them up,
Yeah, it's
So
true. What
you're helping
I'm
them now.
honest. Yeah,
You're
I'm
helping
that. Yeah, I'm
them.
quiet. Like, I'm a quiet person. I'm that shy guy. Like, hey. But once you get me opened up, that's when I feel comfortable. And I think that's the idea, right? Warming them up. If you can get to
Mhm.
that point with someone, to
Right.
what's a topic that you would like just talk, like what's a great opener for someone who says, hey, I gotta meet that person. I gotta talk to that person. What's a great suggestion that you have?
Well, for someone like that, if you can tell by body language, sometimes you can say, "Hey, how's it going?" If they're wearing a necklace or something, maybe give them a compliment or something. Or if they're carrying a book and you know, "Oh, I've read that book before," maybe that's a good conversation starter. "Oh, so I see you read Who's in Your Room by Ivan Meisner. How do you, what did you learn from that?"
Yeah.
Just kind of ask questions, open them up a little bit, ask questions. The thing about relationship building and gaining referrals is that it's not about gaining referrals right away. Nurturing. It's about nurturing that conversation, nurturing that relationship with them. And what you want is their confidence in you. You know what I mean? They have to be confident that you can do the job, you can do the work, they can send people to you. And you know, and they won't do you wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I
No.
think that's one of the things. It's like we have these trust issues that happen in our lives, you know, and we don't know who to trust. Maybe we got burnt a few times before. So now networking is kind of scary to us because it's like, I don't want to meet somebody like that again.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
No,
So like,
I think everyone's been burnt. I don't think there's never a time where we've all been burnt. We've all been burnt by someone we love. We've been burnt by someone we hate. You know, we've been by someone we didn't know. By the time you get to a certain point in your life, you're just like, man, there's like who is really out there uh, giving out, you know, doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? Doing the right thing.
exactly.
And unfortunately, there is we're living in a time where people are out there for themselves, right? They're like scavenger, you know, you can feel it, and I think we know that. So when we find someone that's authentic, right, that's doing the right thing, that's out there being like, you know, and all of a sudden you have like now you have like you put on your walls, you're like, I don't know about this guy, I don't know about this girl. She's like this seems to but no one's perfect. I don't think anyone's perfect. I think they're just. I think we need to just, as someone that when we're learning from someone, are they have they been doing it long enough where people where they have the experience. So when something does happen, there's a challenge or a struggle. They can they're there for me, right? They're there to show up. Or I can call them if I have a question. They're going to follow up. I think follow up's a big one.
Yes, follow up definitely. And even email introductions. Like if you make a referral, you know, hey, I'd like to introduce you to someone, you
Mhm.
know? Not just, hey, I want to, you know, get referrals from you. No, I want to introduce you to someone who you can work with that's possibly a great referral source for you, and vice versa. Giver's gain. That's what BNI is about, you know, what they say. Um, they also trademark something called Better Together, which is great because just the words itself, it's like, yes, we are better together,
Mhm.
you know? So what can we do together? And it's also another thing I noticed too in networking, especially, is that a lot of the people that I've met that were really quiet, that I've actually came up to and started having that conversation, they always had the most to give.
Yeah, it's true.
But they're cautious. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know. I have to learn to know who this person is first, right?
Sure, sure.
So, and
No,
it takes time. Did you know that once you're in a networking group, like the first year might be a little bit of, you know, you learning things, you learning people, but by the second year, it's like, okay, I got this. All
sure,
right, I know everyone here.
sure.
You know what I mean? So, you know, when it comes to referrals, sometimes it takes time. Everyone gets them at their own pace,
Yeah.
you know? And relationship building takes time. You can't just go up to someone and say, hey, let's be friends.
No, it doesn't happen that way. Not now. I mean, I don't even know my neighbor. I do know my neighbors. I'm just
You
joking.
should bring some brownies over. Be like,
No,
hey.
I know. I'm just kidding. Yeah, there's different levels of friendship. I think there's people that you have on your cell phone, right? There's people on
Mhm,
your social media, your LinkedIn.
mhm,
There's people that you can just direct message and feel comfortable. I was going through this, but I love the fact and that I can message someone and they know that I'm not gonna try to like pitch them, right? I'm not trying. They're
mhm,
I'm their friend versus. And I know and I love having those messages with somebody that I have that I can just message someone and have a conversation versus like when someone out of the blue messages me, it's like a pitch, right? Or it's this or it's just
mhm.
like, you know, there's a difference
It's
between
a turn
sales.
off.
I get sales calls. No, I get sales. I get if it's a sales call. If they're like, "Hey, I'm just calling you because of this," I get that because if you, I mean, you're in your web design company. If someone
Mhm.
calls you and says, "Hey, by the way, this is John from Dell," or it is Dell. I'm sorry.
Oh, wow.
They still. I forget it was the, but they're saying, "Hey, by the way, do you need a new? Do you, or if something's wrong with your computer, you know, we can help you." You know, back in the day.
Sheesh. I thought we were gonna have a real conversation here. I thought it was like, what's the weather like over there in Vegas, man?
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
Not, is your computer running right now?
Is it running right now? Is your computer running? Where's it going? Where's it going? Like, now, but nowadays, if that happens, what's funny nowadays, if it happens, it's a scheme. It's a scam, right? Like, so FYI, like if someone
And
calls
you
you,
know it right away
yeah,
because
you know it
you've
right
heard it
away.
so much.
Yeah, it's happened so much, right? Like, and people fall for it. So that's the sad part. So congratulations on your position that you have, your vice president. Yeah, that is amazing. You guys, I really like. She shows that, and that's not the BNI organization. I need to connect with. We're gonna have to connect because in the future, that's an organization that's been out for a long time, and they're like legit. It's not just something that like they put together.
And they're global. You could
They're
be in Canada,
global.
you could be in Japan, you can be, no matter where you are, you're supported because you're
Hmm.
part of the BNI family.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to be part of the BNI family to be part of the BNI family, to be honest, you
Sure.
know?
Yeah.
Some people, it takes time for them to kind of jump into it because maybe they're not at the level of their business that they're not ready for it. Maybe
Hmm.
they don't have the time right now or whatever. But it's, it doesn't mean you have to disconnect them. Everyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome. They can visit. If it's not for them, it's not for them. We have
Hmm.
chapters everywhere.
Sure.
If our group is not good for you, maybe another group might be.
Sure.
You know
Sure.
what I mean? So you just kind of feel it out. And that's kind of what I did, when I
Mhm.
first,
No, one thing, I tell people, and I do promote this, is a lot of us, we get stuck in our head. We're learning, we're growing, we're reading sales books, we're learning
yeah.
mindset group, but we're reading all this stuff. We watch a good YouTube video, and all of a sudden things start to click. They're like,
Mhm.
this is I need there's we start seeing like the we start having a vision, right, about
Mhm.
for ourselves, for our lives, for the people around us. We start to go, okay, I need to start going this direction. And you need to find people that are going or have been in that direction before, have had that experience or going through that experience and have those conversations versus like, oh, did you see that movie? And then
Right.
that's it, right? Or did you watch the new Spider-Man movie? Like, yeah, that's it. That's cool. And then you're talking, but that's great, but we're talking about ourselves, about that ability to have
Deeper conversations.
deeper conversations. I believe so. I think so. You're right. Absolutely, have a deep conversation, and then with that, when you communicate, when you have that conversation, you grow. You grow because it validates that you're on the right path, and you're
Yeah.
like, hey, this person is like has done it, right? Has gone through it, and there's different conversations. What's one thing, Analyn, that because you're like a mentor now, or you're
Yes.
mentoring people.
Mhm.
Okay, what's something that you see like when someone starts now, wants to do when they start going? What's something that they're having a challenge? Like what's the one question that they're having in their mind? Going, oh, like I'm having this challenge right now. It could be a general. Like what have you seen?
I think in networking, for example, the challenges a lot of people are having is like how, this person's is in this industry. I don't know anything about their industry. How do I give them referrals?
Sure.
And they beat themselves up because it's like, oh man, I've been getting a lot of referrals, but I haven't given any to anybody else. What am I doing wrong? Like, am I doing something wrong? Is there, the challenge is that where do you fit yourself in? Like, okay, yeah, you get to know this person. She has 3 kids. She's a realtor or whatever it is that she is. But I don't talk to a lot of people that's buying houses. How does that come up? And don't beat yourself up about it because eventually it might come up. It might come up in a conversation in the future somewhere. But that person's there. You are aware of it. And another way to help them out is you don't have to just give them referrals. You can help in, maybe if they're looking for a mortgage lender, put a post up on your Facebook. Hey, a friend of mine, I'd like to introduce a mortgage lender to a friend. You know what I mean? So you're still engaging, you're still doing something for that person, you're still giving something.
Yeah.
So when they say put your intentions into action, someone told me that,
Yeah.
a business consultant friend of mine. And he says, put intentions into action. You can talk about what you're going to do for them, but are you
Sure.
really doing it?
Sure.
So those are challenges that people have. They don't know what to do. They don't know who's going to guide them.
Hmm.
So one of the things I like about the group and BNI is that they really educate people. you have an opportunity to go out there and ask questions. They have a education portal that you can go on and learn more about networking, learn how to get referrals, learn how to invite visitors. You know what I mean? So when you see someone struggling, it could be multiple things. It could be a personal relationship, something that's going on in their lives. But what if it's a business thing? What if you can find out that person has a business issue? Maybe they're not getting enough business. Those are the kind of people you want to introduce to these people, because we are all like a support group for your business. The 18 people, 17 people, I think 16, because that includes me, 16 people that's in my group right now, those 16 people are my salespeople. And they're not out there like, taking a lot of their time to sell my websites or anything like that. They just listen to conversations. They listen to people talk. When someone complains about their website, oh, my website's not mobile friendly, then maybe that's a great way to start having that conversation. It's like, oh my gosh, I know someone that can do that for you.
Sure.
They can help you, redesign. She's really great, cost effective. She'll work with you. She will work with you. You know what I mean? So when you have people talking about you in that way, it's like, oh, that's awesome. And it doesn't even have to be about business. You don't have to sell my business all the time. You could just have that conversation, be like, hey, I'd like you to meet somebody. You don't even have to bring up web design. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes conversations like that come to you naturally. So don't beat yourself up if you can't provide referrals to that business because you don't know a lot about their business and you don't meet people that would want to, that kind of service. It's okay. It's okay. You got to let that go, because once you let that go, it's like, an opportunity comes your way and you're like, oh, now I see why,
Yeah, I can see where people, when they feel, I think it's like a guilty feeling, right? They feel bad. Like, oh, I feel bad. But you shouldn't feel bad. You should feel bad if you're not showing up. You should feel bad if you're not there, if you're not being present, if you're not having a positive energy, being, that's when you're like, if you're like a negative Nancy, like, oh, like if you're having a bad day, I think you should let them know. You should let the person know, because they understand, especially if someone who's been in business or in sales or whatever, and they're having a bad day, like him having all these things are coming up, and you're like, but I'm here, I'm showing up. Be honest, be like, okay, cool. Like we understand. Everyone's had a bad day, right? Like we've all had days where things are just about, you think everything's about to fall apart, but really.
But you can always ask for help. There's
sure, absolutely. And asking for help is a way of giving value, because now one of the things is people that are out there that are networking, they're out there in the community doing what they need to be doing. They're looking for people to give their time. That's their way of giving value, right? Their time is valuable, and that's a great, and that's helping them practice, because now you're able to. Now, you're practicing the way you help people. I think that takes time, right? Communication, learning your conversation, learning how to listen. We're all that's all things that, as a mentor, as a coach, as a salesperson, those are all the same skills that we're practicing in day-to-day life. What's one thing, before we go, what's one thing that you said, hey, you know what, I got to work on, I'm working on this, and this is how I got better at it. Like, what do you think?
Well, whenever I run into challenges, there are times where I beat myself up about it. It's like, oh man, I can't. But then, I thought about it and I was like, no, I can do this. So I would search for things. Like, if I want to be educated on how to, solve those problems or kind of overcome those challenges, I search. I Google search. I go on YouTube. How do I get over anxiety? How do I get over depression? You could search for these things. Why sit in that, when you can actually take the action to look for it, to educate yourself? I'm a self-teaching person. Like, I'm a self-taught person. Like, I self-taught myself websites before I even got into web design, before I went to school, So we are all lifelong learners. It doesn't matter what age we are. we're always going to try to learn. There's 80-year-olds out there that knows how to work an Apple phone, you know,
Yeah.
and there's younger kids that don't know, younger people that don't know how to use a phone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter what age you are. You're a lifelong learner. So when you're running into challenges and you're running into these kinds of struggles and you're afraid to ask people, because a lot of people are,
Yeah.
you're afraid to ask help for help, then find it, research it,
Mm-hmm.
find out how you can help yourself. And that's really what it's about. And before I go, I got this book from Be Nice. Ivan Misner wrote this book called A Networking Mentor. And I'm actually really proud of this because he actually signed it to Analyn, and it says inspire.
That's awesome. I think that's awesome. That's awesome. No, that guy's legit. He's
sort of an epiphany, and I was like, wait, I've been doing that the whole entire time. How do you know I was inspiring people?
Yeah.
You know, so
I think after when you become at that he's like the high super black belt of just people, right? No,
yeah.
I'm just straight up. That's what they are. I believe that they've met if you think about his skills, networking, communicating, meeting people, he can we use it. I say the word discern, where he can judge wisely on when someone that he meets right off the bat. And he knows like who this person is, like there's like these people are this. I don't think it's a gift, but it's a skill that they developed over a certain amount of years, and that's the gift, right? It's the gift. I think that's the thing. The skill, right, is the skill that you worked to become the gift, and that's your gift. Now you're sharing that.
And it takes a mindset too, you know, when you have that mindset to learn that skill set.
Yeah, it becomes the gift. So, Analyn, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I had a great conversation. Listen, we're going to do this again. We talked earlier. My goal is to have a couple more people, and we'll set up a time. And if you want to connect with Analyn Braza, make sure you find her on Facebook. What else are you on? You on TikTok or wherever? Where are you at right now?
I am on TikTok. You gotta find me though.
Yeah, find you on TikTok,
Instagram. I'm on Snapchat.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And then what's your web? And tell them what your website is.
It's webkitty.website. So I'm actually doing a remodel, I guess renovation of my website, or redesign, I guess you could say. Renovations for houses, but
awesome.
Same thing.
Yeah, and if you need a website, definitely connect with Analyn. She'll hook you up. She'll get you that mobile website that you need. Now, it's a must-have.
Work, I guarantee you, I know several more people that can work with you.
Yeah, website designers know people. Guys, they know people. That's what they.
I'm not all about competition. Not everyone's gonna like my work, but if I can find someone that you like, that's gonna work with you,
sure,
then I still win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I've given an opportunity for another business.
No, I agree with that too. Sometimes we're not going to have the same vision, but I know someone that works with you.
Exactly.
All right, you have a good day. I'll talk to you later.
All right, thank you, Benjamin.